The Christmas tree started dying the day Dad disappeared. Not normal dying, like dried-out needles falling. This was different. The branches twisted downward, the needles turned black, and the whole thing seemed to shrink, collapsing in on itself like a dying spider. Mom said we had to keep it up until Christmas. "It's what your father would want," she insisted, though her voice shook when she said it. I wasn't so sure. Dad had acted strange about the tree from the moment we bought it from that new lot on the edge of town. "Such a perfect specimen," the old seller had whispered, his gloved hands caressing the branches. "A rare variety. Very hungry." Dad had laughed nervously, but bought it anyway. The price was too good to pass up. The first sign something was wrong came when our cat, Mittens, vanished 3 days after we set up the tree. We found small bones beneath the lowest branches, picked clean and bleached white. Mom said it must have been mice that Mittens had caught, but I saw the way she started keeping her distance from that corner of the living room. Then the ornaments began to change. The glass balls turned cloudy, filled with what looked like dark smoke. The angel on top twisted its head 180 degrees to stare down at us with empty eyes. And the tinsel moved when no one was watching, like silver snakes slithering among the branches. Dad spent hours staring at it. "It's so beautiful," he'd mumble, "so perfect." He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. I caught him one night standing before the tree, swaying slightly as the lights pulsed in patterns that made my eyes hurt. The next morning, he was gone. The police found his phone and wallet on the coffee table. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of foul play, just a man who walked away from his life 5 days before Christmas. But I knew better. I'd seen the tree's shadow the night before he vanished, how it spread across the ceiling like grasping fingers, how it moved against the light. And I'd heard sounds coming from the living room. A soft rustling, like dry needles shifting, and underneath that, something wet and hungry. The tree was feeding. It grew smaller each day but denser somehow, its branches knitting together into a tight mass of blackened needles. The trunk darkened and twisted, developing patterns that looked disturbingly like faces caught in silent screams. The ornaments sank slowly into the branches, absorbed by the hungry wood. I tried to warn Mom, but she wouldn't listen. "We're all just stressed," she said. "The police will find your father. Everything will be fine." But I saw her watching the tree when she thought I wasn't looking, saw how she flinched when the lights flickered in that strange pulsing rhythm. Last night I heard her scream. By the time I reached the living room, she was gone. The tree had shrunk to half its original size, but the trunk had grown thicker, knotted with bulges that looked almost like bodies trying to push their way out. I should have burned it then, should have dragged it outside and set it aflame. But something in those twisting branches caught my eye. A movement, a familiar face forming in the shadows. Dad's face, then Mom's. Their eyes were black as pitch, their mouths open in eternal hunger. The police don't believe me, of course. They think I'm traumatized, spinning stories to cope with my parents' abandonment. They don't see how the tree has changed, how it pulses with a dark life of its own, how it whispers in the night. It's Christmas Eve now. The tree is barely 3 feet tall, a dense black mass that throbs like a heart. The faces in its trunk have multiplied, dozens of them now, all sizes, all ages. Some I recognize from missing persons reports that go back decades, all wearing the same hungry expression. I'm writing this as a warning. If you see a Christmas tree lot appear at the edge of town, run. If a smiling old man in gloves offers you the perfect tree at a price too good to be true, walk away. And if you notice your Christmas tree beginning to change, to shrink, to hunger, burn it. Burn it before it's too late. Because tonight is Christmas Eve, and I can hear something moving in the living room. The lights are pulsing faster now, and the tree's shadow is stretching across the floor toward my bedroom. I can hear voices calling, Mom, Dad, and others, so many others, all begging me to join them inside the tree. They say it's beautiful in there. Perfect, eternal Christmas, forever and ever. The shadow has reached my door. I think it's hungry again.